Hey YouTubers, a while ago I did a video on the strap code Oyster bracelet for the Seiko SKX007 and 009 and possibly other watches. Those are the ones that I have, so those are the ones I know about. Anyway, I like the Oyster bracelet so much that I thought I would treat myself to what they call the Super Jubilee. So that's what I have here. I've already taken it out of the envelope, but I haven't yet taken it out of its bag. So let's do that. These bracelets are about 50 bucks, between 50 and 60 bucks. I got this on Amazon, and I think they are well worth the money, as demonstrated in the other video about the Oyster bracelet. Now the difference here is I actually have a watch with a Jubilee style bracelet on it, and this is the original signed Seiko bracelet. So I thought it would be nice to actually compare this bracelet against an aftermarket bracelet. So let's get on with it. First off, let me sort of demonstrate the qualities of the Seiko bracelet. And as I've said in some of my other reviews, this is a really slinky bracelet. It's very rattly. The clasp is pretty much pressed metal. It's real thin. But as I've said before, I like it just fine. It's very comfortable. That said though, I thought it would be nice to try a heavier bracelet with solid end links and sort of compare, and see just how much higher the quality can be if you get a bracelet that's nicely made. So that's what this is about. I'm going to replace this guy, and we'll see. So first, let me shake this guy. This is the original Seiko. And you can see it's jiggly and rattly and so forth. And once I get the strap code Jubilee mounted, I'll kind of do the same test with it. I've got this nice protective plastic on here. It was pretty hard for me to get it off though. So that's good. It keeps the bracelet pretty well protected, but it is a little picky to get off. One thing I want to point out before I have the bracelet actually mounted is just how much nicer the clasp is on the strap code bracelet versus the Seiko's. See the difference in thickness there of the metal? This is just pressed metal. And this might be pressed, but it feels a little more like it's machined. And it's just nicer construction. This also has a locking clasp. So when you put it together, this part locks and these buttons unlock it. And that folds over just like on the Seiko. So let's just shake this around while it's off. I mean, already it feels more solid in my hands. Still pretty flexible, but just not as jiggly and jingly as the other. So I'm going to get this guy mounted and then I'll be back. Alright, well, half an hour later, maybe longer, I finally got the old bracelet off and the new one on, and it's sized. The old bracelet was a real pain in the butt to get off. I used this tool to get it off, but my God, it was very hard. Part of the reason it was hard is because of the design of the pins. They don't really have a... my camera is just not working with me. They don't have the little ridges on them that some pins do, so it was really hard to get in there and get the thing released. Anyway, I finally did get it done, and got the new one on, and this is a screwed together bracelet, so it's pretty easy to size. I took 2 links out of one side, I believe is how it turned out for me. So it's on, yay. And I'll just put it on so you can see what it looks like. Hey, it looks a lot like the old one, as it should. I mean, it's a Jubilee copy, so it's going to look Jubilee-ish. So let's do the shake test. The shake test. Important thing about this bracelet change. This is definitely a heavier bracelet, and it definitely feels more solid. It does have solid end links, as I mentioned before, and the links themselves, these guys, seem more solid than on the Seiko bracelet. So I'm going to call it a win. I would say I might prefer the change that happened when I put the Oyster on my SKX007, but of course I went from a NATO strap to that bracelet. The Oyster is a whole lot more solid feeling because it has fewer links. So this is, I would say, a big improvement in heft and overall feel, but it's still a pretty rattly bracelet. I think that's just due to the design. I mean, you look at it, these links are pretty complicated, and they provide for a whole lot of flex. So it's just that the materials, hear the difference there? Materials here are just heavier. So it's got a better feel, that's for sure. Whether it's worth the 50 bucks or not, you're going to have to be the judge. I'm happy having spent 50 bucks. I think that's a really pretty decent deal. So, back onto the wrist. I call it a success. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.